Here on centre court, deep into the second week of Wimbledon, one of the talking points amongst some of the players has been the condition of the courts. Some saying it's a little bit slower. Well, alongside me is Neil Stubley, the head of courts here at the All England Club, and the lovely Carol Kirkwood. We'll come to you in just a second, Carol. But Neil, some players, as I've said, talking about the courts playing a little bit slower. What do you say to that?
Well, all the data that we collect, so every year we have an independent company that come in, they test the speed of the courts, and then we take a lot more of other matrix of the court, so the firmness, soil moisture, density of grass, so all of those attribute to the speed of the courts. Now, all the data that we're collecting each day is telling us that they are pretty much exactly where they were last year, so typically we'll take over 20,000 readings of hardness on the courts during the championships, over 18,000 tests for chlorophyll density, which tells us how much grass is on the baselines and in the body of the courts. And all of that data is coming back telling us that the courts are playing the same speed that they were for not only last year but in previous years.
So what could be the reason for the players having that perception?
Well, sometimes it's type of player as well. So there'll be certain players that that will use certain techniques of topspin and things that will deliberately slow the game down. Humidity will slow it down because there's a little bit of moisture in the air. So there's just a lot of variables. And again, sometimes the player might only play 3 or 4 matches on the grass from one year to the next. So when they come back, they don't necessarily always remember what it was like the year before.
Interesting. Carol, some of those references that Neil mentioned just went over my head, but I'm sure you've got it all. When we spoke earlier in the week, you mentioned that Wednesday was one of the days this week that we might have the possibility of some rain.
Absolutely right. In fact, a shower, Rishi. We could see a shower this afternoon. And Neil is quite right when he says there's a level of humidity in the air today. There most certainly is. You can probably feel it. But there's a good chance we could stay mostly dry today. Variable amounts of clouds, some sunny spells. There's a wee bit of dampness in the air right now. Highs today 25, possibly 26. But we could see a greater risk of a shower tomorrow and Friday. That'll be good for your plants though, Neil.
Good for the plants, but not the courts.
She's always looking on the bright side of things. Carol, Neil, thank you very much.
Thank you.